What is going on, guys? Today we are back with a video. We got the two S197s out here. We got the 2014, obviously my 2014 Coyote, Black Betty. We have Nick's 2006 Mustang GT. What is the name of it? Thunder 3 valve. That's Thunder right. 3 valve, yep. So today we're going to be comparing these two cars and going over which one you should buy. Should you buy, they're both S197s, so should you buy a 2011 to 2014 with the Coyote, or should you buy a 0509? Everyone knows you shouldn't buy 2010. Okay, so first thing, obviously, with these two cars is the price. So a Coyote comes in at around 20 to 30 grand, whereas the 4.6 3 valves 05 to 09 come in at about 8 to 15, depending on how the market is. Like right now, they're going for like 15, and they're just going for, some of them are going for $20,000, and some of these are going for like $40,000. So that is absolutely a no-go. On a normal market, this one goes for about 20 to 30, maybe 20 to 25, and this one goes for about 8 to 15. For a really nice one, low miles is 15. For a okay one, is about 7 to 8. One of the main differences between these two cars, price and performance-wise, is going to be this. So this car has a 4.6 V8, a 3-valve motor, and this car has the Coyote, the V8. Everyone loves it. It's still in Mustangs today. So let's talk about, is that one worth it, or should you go with this one? First off, we'll talk about the Coyote. Obviously, a full bolt-on. You guys can look this up with a, I'm pretty sure it's a Cobra jet system, or I can't remember exactly what it is, but you can make almost 500 wheel. Some people have made 502 to the tire with a naturally aspirated bolt-on system with the Coyote motor. Now, on another route, you can boost these cars, and they can handle about 750 to 800, depending on how you tune and what your torque numbers are and what boost system you go to. But normally, you can go about 700 to 800 horsepower boosted on stock internals. Now, with the 3-valve bolt-on, Nick, do you know what these make? Bolt-on, full bolt-on?
Probably like right at 4.
So you can make somewhere around 400 full bolt-on to the tire. Maybe a little less, maybe a little more, depending on what setup and what mods go better together. But somewhere around the 400 mark, you can make naturally aspirated. Now, boosted, that's where these cars fall a little bit short. So these cars have a problem with their rods and their internals not handling much torque. So if you keep your torque low, you can make a good amount of power, but it can only handle about 450 torque. So boost is really out the window until you really get a built block or forged internals or anything like that. Now, with that being said, this motor does fall a little bit short with boost, but it is no slack. It doesn't make crazy power, but to this day, this car is a 06, and here's a video right here of it beating a 2020 Challenger, a manual. Damn. And here's another video of us beating a 2021 Daytona Charger, an automatic. He's on my ass! Now, I also do want to add, when we beat that Daytona, this car had really, really bad spark plugs in it. Here's a picture of those. So obviously you can see they are terrible, and this car still put bus links on it. So just because that a lot of people say that these cars don't make power, doesn't mean they don't hang up with newer cars. So obviously there are a lot of differences between these engines in these cars. Do I think it's worth the price? I would say yes, the engine is a little bit worth the price. Is it worth 10 to 20 grand more? Probably not, but there are other things in this video we're going to cover that might make that change, but I'm going to give this to the Coyote. So the next point we have is the sound of these cars. Now, in almost everyone's opinion, mine included, the 4.6 is probably one of the best V8s that Ford has ever put out, especially the 3-valve one compared to like the Coyote. They sound really good, both of them do, but I'll let you guys hear this one. So obviously this car isn't stock. It has long tube headers, a catless X-pipe, and it has the SLP loudmouths on the back. And it is obviously, it's cammed. Me and Nick made a video about that. You guys can go check that out. It's right here. So this car is not stock, but even stock they sound really good, and clearly there's potential for them to sound absolutely amazing. So now you guys heard the 4.6. Let's hear the Coyote. As you guys can tell, they both sound absolutely amazing, and it is all opinion based. Some people think the Coyote sounds better, some people think the 4.6 sounds better. Me and Nick always have this debate where we go back and forth. Neither of us like either car better. If we ride in the Coyote one day, we say the Coyote sounds better. If we ride in his car the next day, we'll say that his car sounds better. So, and realistically, they kind of sound the same, honestly. They have the same rasp point, and they have the same raspy tone. Me and Nick have a very similar exhaust setup, so that's probably why. Obviously, my car's not cammed, so it doesn't chop like his. But yeah, it's really all opinion based, whichever one you think sounds better. Do I think the difference in sound is worth the price? Absolutely not. So I'm going to give this one to the 3-valve. So our next topic between these two cars is aftermarket support. So if you guys have watched any of my channel, you know we've done a ton of things to Nick's car. We've done a ton of things to the Coyote. I haven't even showed you all of it. I didn't show you guys this lip. I didn't make a video about the hood, but we've done a ton of things to both cars. And by looking at them, you can tell they're not stock. Nick's is a little more stock on body because he's focused on more performance. When I bought my car, it's already been plenty fast enough. I haven't really had to do much to it, so I've focused a little bit more on the aftermarket part of it. Now for these two cars and Mustangs in general, they probably have the most aftermarket support for any car on the market, especially Mustangs just as a whole. These two cars specifically. Now, the S197, you can literally change fenders, bumpers, hoods, grills, doors, trunk, interior, motor. You can change everything about it. For the 3-valve, same thing. You can change fenders, doors, the mirrors, the hoods, the grills, the bumper, the trunk, the rear bumper, the wheels, the side skirts. You can change everything about these cars, and that's what's so unique about especially both of these, and even the S550, I would say, is that you can make these exactly how you want and to your own taste. Now, modding performance, as of like performance wise, obviously you have like Lido that tunes these cars really good. You have Lund and Palm Beach Dyno that tune these cars really good. And then you have Bama that can tune both of them on a base level, kind of like a bolt-on car, or like just a stock tune where you're stock and you want a little bit more performance out of. So for aftermarket support on performance and cosmetics, I'm gonna have to give it to both of these, as they both have a really insane amount of mods you can do to the outside, the looks, the inside, the motor, the tuning. Both of these cars, you have unlimited potential to make it your own. I'm gonna give it to both. So me and Nick were just talking about our next point, and it is the body style of these two cars. So in my opinion, they are both probably the two best looking Mustangs in my opinion. I have these two, and then the 2-valve, and then the S550. Say what you want, 2-valves are timeless and they look amazing. Obviously for the 2014, it's a similar body style. This one, they went a little bit more retro. They tried to do some squared look. I absolutely love it. It has that modern retro feel. With my car, they went for a sportier muscle car look but also kind of kept the retro, like with the interior. I don't have that interior anymore. I have forged carbon, but it all was like retro style, similar to this one, but especially with this one with the fog lights in the front like the old ones, the square body style, and as everyone knows with the 2014s, everyone loves the tail lights on these, so everyone picks 2014 just because of these tail lights. That's why 11 to 12 is not included into this. The 3 valves tail lights, I personally don't hate them. Obviously Nick wants to get the Raxium ones that kind of match the 13-14 tail lights, but my opinion, I'm gonna have to give it to both of them because I love both. I love the side shot of the 3 valve Mustang. I love how the front and rear of the 2014 and 13s look, but let's see what Nick has to say.
In my personal opinion, I would say that the 13-14 Mustang is like the last Mustang that was made. I feel like these newer ones, I would agree with that. It's all sporty look, which is great. I love S550s, but I agree with you that this car is the perfect blend of muscle and sport. I feel like the 3 valve is a pure muscle car.
I would agree with that.
I would give it to the 13-14s.
Okay, so we're torn. I would almost give it to his more, and he would almost give it to mine more. Obviously, we bought these cars, so we obviously love both. I've even thought about getting a 3 valve myself as like a daily, but yeah. I'm gonna have to give it to both. Nick gives it to the 14. You guys take your own opinion and decide on that. So once again, talking about the motors in these cars, we're talking about reliability. Can you daily them? Which one's more reliable? Which one's gonna hold up longer? Which one's gonna give you more mileage? Should you buy a high mileage one? Should you buy a low mileage one? Let's talk about that. So for the 3 valve S197, these are probably the most reliable motors ever made by Ford. Obviously the Coyote is very reliable, but this one has been out for so much longer, and we've had so many more tests and people beating on them, and it is now 16 years old. So we've had almost 2 decades to figure out what these cars can handle, what they can take, how many miles they can get. This motor has only been out for 8 years now, so it's not really a fair test on to see how many miles they can handle. Obviously we have high mileage Coyotes, but these in particular have seen, you can see 3 valves on Marketplace with 200, 300, 400,000 miles pulling as strong as they did. I personally have almost 100K on my Coyote, and you can ask Nick, it has no type of, I've had no issues out of it. I have had no trouble. It pulls as hard as it did when I bought it with 30,000 miles. I've had no issue with it. Reliability, we both daily our cars actually. I daily mine, he dailies his. I'm gonna have to give it to both of them, honestly.
Agreed.
The 4.6 as a daily is probably a little bit better, but at the same time, the Coyote actually gets better gas mileage. So if you're looking for a daily, I don't know, is the reliability of both worth the price difference? Definitely not. The 4.6 is the way to go if you're looking for reliability and a cheap car. So now we move on to the interior, which is really important when you're looking for a car to daily. Like me and Nick, we don't really mind these interiors. We actually kind of like them. Obviously, some people prefer the really stylish and all the features and stuff. But the interiors of these cars, like I said, I daily it, so there's stuff in the cup holders and stuff. So the interior of these cars, obviously I have modded mine. I've got the forged carbon everywhere. I've got this steering wheel, I've got the premium with the little screen on the middle. But out of the Coyote, I've had no issues with any type of problems of the interior. Stuff doesn't really rattle. There's leather here, leather here. It's not really plastic everywhere except for under this and this, but it doesn't make too much noise. It doesn't really creak or anything. My car is newer, so I would hope it wouldn't. But interior for this car, I would say it's just fine. So one more thing about this interior is that Ford did update a couple things, like this Mustang logo. Obviously it lights up when it's dark. You have the ambient lighting in the cup holders, in the floorboards, and you can change all the colors on your dash, which I think Nick can do on his dash, but obviously not the floorboards and the cup holders. And I can even change the color of this Mustang sign right here that lights up. So that is one little plus to the 2014 interior that's a little bit different. And also you get, the more buttons on the steering wheel, so you can skip songs and set your cruise control and call and control the dash and everything on here. So that's a little bit of an update that they made, but not a big deal. I also have the automatic lights that turn on and off by themselves whenever it's daylight or dark outside. So moving on to the 3 valves interior, we'll let Nick explain because he daily drives this car.
So I would say that a lot of people like to hate on this interior, and in a way I can kind of see it because it is hard plastic everywhere besides the leather on the steering wheel. It does creak, and I've seen a video talking about the shaker system that comes in here. It is really good, the sound is great, but it will shake your interior pretty bad. One thing is too, these like to peel.
His is doing it.
But in my opinion, for what they were going for with this car, the retro styling inside looks great. And I think it fits what the car was trying to do, what Ford was wanting to do with this car.
I agree with that.
So, in my opinion, when I was looking at this car, the interior is not what I was really looking for. You know, like he said, with the nice leather and the Alcantara and stuff, but I mean, it's good, the daily, you know, it doesn't give me any problems. So
who do you think, which one do you think you would give this one to?
I'd give it to the 14 for sure.
Give it to the 14, just because of small issues like this. Like I said, they're very similar. They're almost identical interiors, besides like the vents and stuff.
Yeah.
But
it's
small
things. This, like the vents, like I feel like this is just, it fits what this car is, and that's why I don't hate it as much as other people say they do, because I feel the interior fits what this car is. I
agree with that, and obviously Ford made their improvements by stuff like this, but both of them are great. Just because they had a little more time to improve, I'm gonna give it to the 2014. So that is mostly all the things we wanted to cover in these cars. Obviously, pretty much everything else is similar. They have both solid rear axle. They both kind of handle like dog shit. I mean, they're not as bad as people say, but they're really not no S550 or no import type of car or no really car that's made for the track. These cars both kind of handle like dog shit. S197 a tiny bit worse, but it still handles about the same as both. So there you guys have it. Now you know all the differences. Really, this is just an opinion thing. If you have a budget that's a little bit higher, I would say go with the Coyote. If you're first starting out, I would definitely say the 3-valve is a really good starter car. Nick started in it. He's had no issues of it. It's enough power to get you going and have fun, but also not too much that you can't really handle it or can't learn to do stuff in it. The Coyote, obviously, if you're going for a race car or you have experience, I would say go with the Coyote if your budget can handle it. It's really all opinion. I would say both of them are great cars, and you should get one or the other over any other car. If you guys enjoyed this video, make sure you like, subscribe. Make sure you drop a comment and share this to someone that might be looking to get one of these two cars. If you guys have any other questions, make sure you comment down below. Watch some other videos, and I'll see you guys next time.